With a little love and a little time, you can turn something cold that was only good to throw into a beautiful piece to display proudly in your home. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I am going to be doing some shabby chic makeovers using some things I have got from the thrift store. So I've got this tray here, I've also got this vase. I'm not going to be doing too much to this because it's already in a really nice shabby chic colour. And then this bowl. So I'm going to set this aside and then I'm going to spray paint these two white. So while those dry, I'm going to move on to working on the vase because I didn't need to spray paint it. So again, I am pulling out my moulds. You know, I always love to decorate things and create embellishments with these using my hot glue. So I think I will go with this one. We'll see, sometimes it turns out too big. So I'm just going to put my hot glue all over it. So you can see I have covered the mould completely and entirely with the hot glue, and you can use clay if you like. I just really like to use my hot glue because it's super quick and affordable as well, and my clay always just dries out. So I'm going to allow this to set for around 2 minutes, and once it's set I'm going to paint it with some white acrylic paint, and then I'm going to be using my artesia mica powder just to give it that bit of shimmer because it will match the vase really nicely. These are pearlescent. Okay, I think it's ready now, so I'm just going to pull this out very gently. And that's another thing I like using the hot glue, because it just comes out a lot easier than if I were to use clay. But the thing is, with your hot glue, if you are using it for your moulds, sometimes you need to tidy it a little bit, so you need to get your scissors out if you've done a little bit too much glue. Like I've got some glue strings here, so I'm just going to remove that and then tidy the edges. So I've just gone and tidied it all up now. I've cut all of the excess hot glue, and I'm just going to take my white acrylic, start painting it, and then I'm going to add the pigment to it. So I just finished painting it, and now we're going to take the pigment. This is Lilac P35, and now I'm just going to let this dry before I glue it onto the vase. Now it's completely dry, so I'm just going to apply some hot glue to it and stick it in the centre. And look at how much better that looks already. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of pink flowers that I've got. These are really nice and dainty. They remind me of spring. So it's not too much. I don't like bright pink, I suppose. And this is going to look really nice on the tray. So let's move on to that now. And for the tray I have made 2 embellishments the exact same way using hot glue, white paint and a little bit of pink pigment. Well, it does say it's lilac, but it's coming out kind of pink. So I'm just going to start with the handles. I have the embellishments I have made, and I'm just going to hot glue them in the centre of each handle. The nice thing about the moulds is that you can just reuse them over and over, and they're so inexpensive. Now I'm going to do some decoupage. So here I've got some rice paper. You can use napkins as well. So once you have your rice paper or your napkins, you're going to select which area you want. So I'm going to be using the kettle, and then if I have space I might use a cup on that side and this cup on this side. So what you want to do is just gently tear around it. You can also use your scissors. This is pretty thick, so I think I will use my scissors, but generally when I am using some napkins I just do it by hand. So I've gone and cut them out, and I've just kind of arranged them roughly, and now I have my Mod Podge. You can use matte or your gloss. I tend to go with the gloss, and to stick it down you don't actually need Mod Podge. You can use PVA, you can even use a glue stick, but I'm just going to use this because I tend to go over the napkins or the rice paper when I do decoupage with a layer of Mod Podge on top. This is just to seal it. You can also use varnish if you want to use this like for tea and stuff, but I'm just keeping it for decoration really. And I always say the key here when you're doing decoupage is to make sure you don't apply too much glue. If you're working with napkins, that can just rip it because it's really fragile. This paper is probably the thickest paper I have worked with, and it's not as fragile, but I still try to not apply too much. This is just a beautiful design. I can't even remember where I brought it from, but I would like to buy a few others in this range. And I love my tea, so this is really fitting my style, and I love flowers as well. So I'm just going to carry on applying glue, and I will come back once that's done. So I stuck everything down and I added another layer of Mod Podge on top. Now I'm just going over the rim or the sides of the tray with a little bit of the same coloured powder and my white acrylic paint. I'm going to add more detail to my tray, and you can do this with a stamp like this, or you can take one of these stencils, for example. I haven't got to use this yet, so I'm quite excited, as well as this modelling paste. I haven't used this either. This is the first time I'm doing anything like this actually. It's something that I've really wanted to try in my projects, so we'll see how it goes. So if you're using a stencil like me, you can place it wherever you like. So let's say I'll just place it here. Make sure it's nice and straight, and then you're going to take your modelling paste and you need one of these tools, and then you're just going to spread it over the stencil. Once you're done, you just want to gently lift up the stencil, and look at that. It's so beautiful. I hope the camera's doing a good job picking it up. You can see it's kind of like 3D. Now I'm just going to do the same. Take a small portion of my stencil and I'm going to go over it with the modelling paste, just so I have some script on this side as well. Look at how beautiful that is. I'm so happy with it. Okay, I'm going to let this set aside so that this can dry. I think I'm done with the tray, so I'm going to move on to my third DIY. So I wanted the main piece to be the tray, that's why I've given it so much more detail, and the vase and this trinket dish are just going to be like little extras on it. So these are little pieces that I have cut off from the same decoupage paper that I used for the tray, and I'm just going to do the same thing, just add it to the bowl using my Mod Podge. And now again I'm going to go over them with a layer of Mod Podge again. Now I'm going to finish the trinket dish off with some pearl embellishments. These are sticky, so I don't need to use any hot glue. I'm just going to add them to the rim of the dish. I've just sat here not that happy with the way this looks. I tried to remove it, but it's peeling up the paint that's underneath, so I have to do something but work with it at the same time. So I decided to go over it with some white paint and let's see what that does. Definitely much better. And again I'm just going to add a touch of the same powder that I've been using throughout on the beads. So just in case you've forgotten, this is the before and this is the after. I'm sure you can tell that I absolutely love the way that these have come out. I think it's a pretty beautiful transformation, if I'm honest. I really love how they all look together, but I do love that tray. Let me know what your thoughts are on these projects and which one is your favourite. If this has inspired you, make sure you leave me a thumbs up and that you're subscribed. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care of yourselves and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.